Family Watch, where we bring you Catholic conversations on marriage, parenting, and family culture. Ako si Manjo Mendoza ng EduChild Foundation, ang inyong host. Kasama natin ang aking co-host ngayong araw na si Lennon Ramirez.
Hello, thank you so much, Manjo. Here at Family Watch, we believe that the path to the renewal of society and transformation of the church begins in and through the family by strengthening marriages, empowering parents, and bringing families closer to Christ.
Welcome to episode 17, Family Watchers. We hope that you are all well and able to spiritually prepare for Holy Week. Thank you sa inyong patuloy na pagtangkilik sa Family Watch at sa Faith Watch. Lennon, alam mo ba na ang International Women's Day is celebrated from March 6 to 8 this year?
Wow.
3 araw yan. Pero wala tayong International Men's Day, di ba? Ang daya nyo, mga ladies.
Well, ayon naman sa website ng International Women's Day, no, they are extending a call to all women to use their intellectual, nurturing, and creative skills, no, to move the world from where it is now to where we believe it can be in 2030. It is only fitting for us to honor them, ano, Manjo? So, kung wala ang ating mga mothers, grandmothers, aunts, sisters, and daughters, our world will not be complete.
Tama ka dyan, partner. And in honor of all women, we thought of this episode entitled, The Men Ask, What Do Women Need? So this episode ay dedicated sa lahat ng ating women audience, pero shout out sa ating male audience kasi kayo ang dapat manood ng episode na ito. Kaya naman nag-imbita tayo ng isang kaibigan na relationship expert.
Yes,
Na suki, alam mo, suki siya sa iba't ibang TV program at radio stations, no? Kung saan-saan mo siya maririnig at mapapanood.
Grabe. So ang ating guest, she is a devoted wife to Attorney Randall and a mother of 2 teenagers. She is a graduate of RFP CEFAM, and she is also a member of IWC, or Intentional Women Coaches. She is also a much sought after speaker, facilitator, and marriage preparation advocate.
Okay. So aside from being a marriage prep advocate, at kasama namin yan sa Our Lady of the Abandon sa pagbibigay ng pre-K na, kaya lang nahinto kami. Okay. She is a family and relationship coach at the Love Institute, which is a 13-year-old company whose vision is to equip every individual with the knowledge and skills they need for their particular relationship stage. So welcome to Family Watch and happy International Women's Day, Mrs. Aiza Tabayoyong.
Yes.
Hello, Sister Aiza.
Hi, Brad Manjo. Hello, Brad Lennon. It's nice to be here in Family Watch. Wonderful. First time during the pandemic.
Wow.
I love it. Nagiging multimedia na tuloy tayo. Dati sa radyo lang.
And hopefully not the last.
Yes, I hope so.
Alam mo, dami po pwede pag-usapan pag si Aiza ang guest mo. But you know, we have so limited time with her now. So, di bale, that will be a reason for us to invite her again. Yan.
Yes, actually. Go ahead.
Because we'll be talking about women's needs. Kailangan din marinig ng mga babae ang men's needs next time.
Next.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Oo, hindi natin iintayin ng International Men's Day, ah.
Oh,
Kailangan na siguro sa bandang Easter season. Yeah.
correct. Because it's a barter trade. If the men don't get their needs, they will not be filled up enough to be able to give back. So, kailangan mutual.
It's a reciprocity, kumbaga.
Exactly. Tama. Correct.
So, okay. I guess going on straight na, no, para wala na tayo masayang na oras. What are the needs of women? I guess in a very general perspective muna, then we narrow down.
Okay. There are a lot, and there are a lot of different psychologists na sasagot niyan para sa atin. Pero ngayon siguro, in the interest of time and focus, let's talk about the study made by Dr. Willard Harley in the States. He did a survey on top 5 needs of men and women, and the results for the women are the following. So sana makarelate ang ating mga kababaihan at sana nakikinig ang ating mga kaasawahan ng mga kalalakihan para sila ay happy wife, happy
life. Yeah, we're all ears. Okay, go.
All ears ka. Pero mas all ears si Lennon kasi para
Yes.
masaya yung kanyang future. Okay, wait. So first need ay financial commitment, okay, or financial support. They say na even though it's the men who is traditionally tasked to have the role of provider for the family, it's the women nang nakakaramdam ng stress or anxiety pag hindi kumpleto ang financial bank or baol ng pamilya. So sila, and it's not just a financial need, it's emotional need. And we see this all the time in the counseling room na dyan talaga napapatingin sa iba or na-attract sa iba ang mga kababaihan pag hindi nila to nakukuha sa family. Because it's not just for shopping, para may add to cart ka papunta sa kung anong online shop mo, no? Pero yung alam mo meron kang kampante ka na meron kang pambayad ng amilyar, na meron kang pambayad ng telecom, ng internet, ng pamalengke, ng mga kasama, 'di ba? So that ng tuition, that you don't have to worry about that. Otherwise, it's the women who feels the anxiety about this. So that's one, financial support. The other need that's also important to women is conversation. So if you notice, women talk a lot. Women like to talk. And that's a gift that we have that we need to also do. Right? Yun nga lang, some men are not as open, as verbal, as vocal. So good news to the men, you don't have to match. Kumbaga words per minute o kaya BPS o kaya the speed of your wife. You don't have to match that, or your girlfriend for that matter. You don't have to match that, but you just need to be is a good sounding board, a good listener, so that she'll just have that kind of conversation with you. Of course, if you reciprocate and you also talk to her at mag-converse din kayo, syempre, matutuwa rin siya kasi nakakakuha siya ng details from you eh. So that's the conversation part. So,
Okay.
can you imagine how difficult, the challenge, no? Mag-provide ka na ng financial support, kailangan pa makipagkwentuhan. So, hindi pwedeng maubos ang oras mo sa pagtatrabaho lang paghanap ng financial support. Kailangan may oras ka makipagkwentuhan or makinig.
Bakit parang naririnig ko, Aiza, madalas yung mga babae nirereklamo yan kasi parang sa courtship stage, parang yung mga lalaki, all ears. Pagdating na nung kasal na, parang biglang nahahati yung attention.
Pagkasal na sila na after a while, syempre na rin yan, conditioning, and this is maybe a warning to the women. If you condition your husband, because in the courtship stage, ang mga pinagpapalitan yung kwentuhan are romantic things, sweet things, no? Meron pang mga yung mga masarap pakinggan. Kaso pagkasal na, minsan ang mas madalas na nasabi, ano kulang, anong sira sa bahay, hindi pa nag-aaral yung mga bata, hindi pa nagpapalit ng lampin yung anak. So more on the things that needs to be done and reminders and criticisms maybe, which kung gano'n ng gano'n, baka nate-train or napoprogram yung asawa na hindi masyado makinig kasi syempre masakit naman sa tenga na laging puro gano'n yung pinag-uusapan.
Parang nagiging nagger.
Yeah. So on that note, kailangan kung gusto nyo makipagkwentuhan pa sa inyong asawa nyo, yung kwento should include some positive things. What happened to your day, what do you like about your spouse, what excited you, good stuff also para kumbaga sa principal's office, kung ang principal's office ay lagi nakakatakot, hindi ka papasok. Pero kung ang principal kaibigan mo, pinupuri ka kung anong ginagawa mong maganda, papasok naman siya sa'yo. So, but that's already men's needs as well, but this is also the women's need. And so, we can go to the next.
Okay.
Unless may question for the first two.
No, we can go back to the other needs, mamaya. Sige. It's good for our audience to see yung line-up muna.
All five first. No. Next is family commitment. So, yan. Gusto mo na ng financial support. Gusto mo pa ng kakwentuhan. Gusto mo pa may kasama kang katuwang sa bahay.
Okay.
Things like if there's something, magpapatawag ng PTC ang teacher, sana sama ka, hindi lang si mommy.
Ah,
Right? Kung
okay.
meron kang dadalawin na may sakit o kaya namatayan, sama ka rin. Knowing na makikita ka ng in-laws na nandun ka, committed ka rin. Or time for, taking care of the children, especially babies and growing up. Kasama kasi namang gumawa, so kasama ka rin ng mag-aalaga. So being there or just being an emotional support, especially when things get exhausting and tiring at home, yung maaasahan ka ng asawa mo na nandiyan ka lang, kaya mo yan, kaya natin to, sweetheart. We're in this together. Hindi yung,
Okay.
nagbigay na ako ng sweldo, okay ka na, bahala ka na sa bahay. Sana hindi ganun.
Yeah.
Right.
Oo.
Okay, so nakailan na tayo?
3.
Tatlo? Nakatatlo na tayo. So pang-apat is honesty and openness. Okay. So yan. We need...
Pahirap ng pahirap ah.
Yeah, medyo hindi naman. Depende. Alright. So, honesty and openness that we know we're the first person who will know things about our spouses. Okay? It hurts the wife when they hear information and data and details from someone else na hindi nila alam. That's one. Of course, we are also gifted with intuition. So we know when our husbands are not telling the whole truth and only the truth and nothing but the truth. Right? Because we can sense, parang hindi kompleto yung kinakwento mo. So, be out in the open from the get-go. Kasi pag nahuli ka pa, mas doble pa yung ano. Plus, as I've said, we like details. We like kwento. So, the more details you say, so it's not just the honesty part. It's really being open. So, the more details you say about yourself, pag alam mo yung part of our marriage prep is, diba, removing layers, unmasking, and showing vulnerability. The more you do that to your spouse, parang foreplay yan. Diba? Kasi sa men's needs, kasama doon, syempre, lovemaking. Pag nag-reveal ka ng something more secret about you, about how you're feeling, what scares you, what makes you sad, those kind of openness is valued so much by the wives. We love that. Right? So, if you do that more and more, then the connection is stronger. Okay? Hindi naman sa lagi kami nagdududa o sino kasama mo. Kaya pag nagtatanong kami, anong oras ka dumating sa opisina? Anong sinakyan mo? Sino una mo nakita? Anong kanain mo ng merienda? Hindi naman sa nagdududa kami. Kung hindi, gusto lang namin talaga ng detalye. So bago pa kami magtanong, maraming tanong na, yan, sino-sino, bakit, kailan, yung mga ganyan, ikaw na magkwento. Han, tumawag ka na, mag-text ka na. Han, did you know na I rode this train, I got to the office at this hour, and then bigla ako kumuha ng suman kasi may nagtitinda ng suman sa office. Kumain ako na, even if we don't need that, we love details. So, and the last emotional need is the affection. Yan. If you want all the loving in the world, we need to feel that we are the most gorgeous, most sexy, most huggable, most adorable creature you have ever laid eyes on. Kahit na dumating na ang mas cute na mga bata at mga anak at mga babies, kailangan cute pa rin kami at huggable, lovable pa rin kami sa mata nyo. So, importante that we feel that kind. Lambing. We are big babies that are needing a lot of lambing. So, those are the 5 emotional needs of women. Yung iba-iba yung range or ranking yan. Some will find the other one on top, the others on top of the other one. In fact, some of the needs of the men, like lovemaking and sex, that's a top need of the men. Minsan sasabihin ng ibang women, I need that too. Sabi ko, yes, but maybe number 6. Because these are the top 5 that came out for the women. So, there.
Yung sequence na binigay mo, Aiza, is do they pertain to any, are you using your personal experience as coach na kaya ito yung ranking niya? Because I
No.
notice is I've also been following Willard Harley, and parang iba yung sequence mo.
Yes, correct. So, kasi in my personal experience, iba-iba yan eh. Kung ano yung hindi na nami-meet, yun yung nagiging mas importante for them. So normally what we do in the counseling session, we ask them to rank their partners. How well is your partner meeting your needs?
Okay.
Top 5, regardless on which one is first or not. And how well do you think you're meeting your partner's needs? So pag bumaba na sa 7, medyo ano na yan, that's an area for you to look at, for the partner to look at. You're not meeting your partner's needs on that, or your wife's needs dun sa aspect na yun. So at the end of the day, there's a particular order that came out in the survey of Willard Hartley. Pero pagdating sa individual practice, lalo na sa Pilipinas, nag-iiba na based on subjectivity, based on sa mga clients themselves. So titingnan nila kung alin dyan ang hindi namin.
Yeah. So hindi siya parang hierarchy of needs, no? Yung pagkaka-sequence mo does not really follow. Kasi parang sinimula mo kasi doon sa financial support, sa isip ko, parang ano to parang Maslow
No.
Actually, naisip ko rin yun eh.
Hindi naman siya. It's not, hindi siya pumapatong na ito ang most important, that without this cannot be also. Hindi naman. Not by my understanding at least. Yeah.
So, for sa yung counseling experience, okay, ano lang to, parang, can you give us like, ano yung top 3 na nagiging needs? And then, how does a husband like me go about finding ano ba yung needs ng wife ko? Di ba? I mean, aside from asking her, ano ba ang needs mo? Halika nga, paki-check mo nga yung listahan ko dito. Ano ba yung number? Paki-rank mo nga to from 1 to 5. Short of doing that.
Yun yung talagang, if you want to be deliberate about it, then you do that. It's maybe ranking, or maybe yun na nga, saan ako nagkukulang, anong grade mo sa akin for this need, for this need, for this need. If you really want, kasi you can do that like in one of your dates. Maglabas kayo ng listahan. What is your ranking of me meeting that need? So, halimbawa, ikaw, Brad Manjo, tatanong mo si Sis, anong ranking mo sa akin in meeting your need for affection, for honesty and openness, for financial support, and for family commitment, and for conversation.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then you can rank yourself, and then pwede natin pag-usapan yan. Pero, ngayon, recently, for our clients here in the Philippines, normally yan, financial support, napupunta sa kung saan-saan. Conversation, especially when there are people from the past who are suddenly back because of social media, na-discover sa Facebook, nagkwentuhan sa Messenger. Ay, nako, ang laking bingwit nun, at busy si husband, or busy, the husband is too busy to listen. That's also an issue. Affection. Because when the children comes in, the mom, yun na nga, kasi mas cute na yung mga bata. And then the mom stops being sexy, stops being beautiful, stops being alluring for the husbands to make it natural for them to show affection. Kailangan talaga effort. Again, intentionality, deliberateness. Pero minsan, because of the busyness of life, the busyness of taking care of the family, meron ng mga bata, yan ang nakakalimutan. Biglang nakakakuha ng affection somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yan yung delikado.
Yeah.
Any of
Toxic
those, any of those na nagkukulang becomes an area where a third party can come in and fill the need. And the wife might be tempted and attracted to that other person who's more than willing maybe to fill that need. So that's one of those areas where we use that. Also.
Nagbabago ba yung yung needs? Nagbabago ba yung alam mo, naglista ako eh. Nilagay ko yung... So, nagbabago ba yung needs because of this pandemic situation na naka-lockdown tayo and the husband and wife, they spend more time sa bahay together, you know?
Siguro nagbabago yung how easy it is na ma-meet yung need. I don't know about you, but there is a blessing in disguise in this pandemic because husbands who used to be very busy and outside, going to work, nauubos ang oras pa sa traffic, are now at home. So kung kaya nila yun i-maximize, ang saya nun in terms of family support, in terms of affection, giving affection. Hopefully, hindi rin nagsasuffer yung financial support kahit na work from home or sana meron silang alternative sources of income. Yun nga lang kasi marami ring affected financially, economically. So, isa yan. Pero kung okay naman sila on other aspects, buo sila as a team, pwede nilang gawan yan ng paraan together. Na medyo hindi ganun kalakas ang kita ni Mister. So, medyo apektado yung need ni Mrs. Pero kung okay sila nag-uusap, okay sila in other aspects, pwede nila yung together gawan paraan.
Yeah. So, yung sinasabi natin na yung quality time is, do you believe in quality time? Is it really, kasi may debate yan eh. It's not really quality. Sabi niya, yung iba sinasabi, no, it's really quantity. You cannot have quality without quantity. So doon sa aspeto nung family commitment, ano ba talaga ang mas mahalaga?
Pareho. Hindi pwedeng puro quality time tapos once a year lang or once a month or anniversary lang. Kailangan yan. Kasi nauubos yan eh. Kumbaga nga sa tangke, sa love tank, love bank.
Love bank, yeah.
Maraming stresses. May stress sa bahay, may stress sa mga anak, may stress sa sariling trabaho ni Mrs. kung ano man yung ginagawa niya. May hormonal pa dahil may monthly period. So, laging kailangan na napupuno rin yun on a regular basis. And that's why one of the recommendation is once a week date.
Yeah.
Fun date. Ayan, pasok na tayo dyan. That's one way to meet the need of the affection and finance and family commitment of the wife.
And
Go
the
on
intimate conversation. Pati intimate conversation. Kasama na ron.
Ang warning ko lang, ang family date is not a home management meeting. Hindi yung date na dapat nag-enjoy kayo with a glass of milk tea, coffee, wine, ano man yung inom, or pizza, whatever. Kahit sa ngayon, hindi masyadong recommended to eat out. Kahit sa corner ng bahay, sa garden, sa loob ng kwarto, mag-lock kayo lang dalawa, walang mga bata, sa sala, sa kitchen, basta kayong dalawa lang na hindi niyo pag-uusapan, eto na, kailangan natin sira yung rice cooker, bili kita tayong bago. Alam niyo, yung pinto dun sa banyo, yung mga ganon, hindi yun yung time. But it's a time to rekindle the romance, to reignite the passion. Maglandian, maglambingan. You have license to do that because you're married. PDA, hold hands. Tangin nyo yung puti ng buhok nyo and
bring back the romance.
Naalala mo ba nung kamukha mo pa si Piolo Pascual? Ganyan. Naalala mo kamukha mo pa si Maria Rivera. Ngayon, sino na kamukha mo? Gloria Romero na. Doesn't matter. Basta mayroon kayong spark and keep the spark and laughter, a lot of laughter, friendship. Yeah.
So kumbaga it's like keeping like parang kung ano yung ginagawa nyo nung nagsimula kayo.
Yes.
Ulitin nyo lang.
Because when the kids grow up and they marry and they leave you, right? At the end of the day, kayong dalawa pa rin yun. No? I know some parents would secretly wish, sana matandang binata, matandang dalaga anak ko para may mag-aalaga sa amin. Hindi ganun. Kasi later on, there's empty nesting and you don't want that after 30 years of parenting, your kids leave you and you look at your partner, sino ka nga? Ano na nga gagawin natin?
Hindi kayo magkakilala.
Tayo na lang naiwan. Diyos ko, how boring naman. Ikaw na lang. I'm stuck with you. Sana this whole time, the friendship has been cultivated and the passion and, the intimacy has continuously being built and deepened.
And as Willard Harley would say, you have to fill up the love bank, hindi ba? Para
Yes.
pag may mga problemang darating, may trials, may challenges tayo, nakakapag-withdraw tayo doon sa bangko. Hindi tayo
Exactly.
nababankrupt.
You have to deposit because challenges here, pandemic here, job loss, sickness, strikes, whatever crisis in the family, it's withdrawal. And kung wala kang paghuhugutan, ma-empty yon, bankrupt. And that's gonna take a toll on the relationship.
So I'm guessing, no, as me, for example, hindi pa ako kinakasal. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe I can use these five, well, ano ba yun, ranking, na kung if I'm ready or if I
Five
fulfill this in the first place.
emotional needs, yes.
Wow.
Huwag
You
kang
can use
mag-alala.
that. Yes, definitely.
Huwag
Lalo,
kang
if you
mag-alala,
use
Lennon.
all of those, check ka sa girlfriend mo. Ano? Kung nag-discern pa siya, kung ikaw ang forever niya, at
Yan.
ginawa mo lahat yan, naku, wala na siyang hihingin pang iba.
Ayan. Tell her to watch this episode with you.
Kaya
So you
nga
can,
eh. So we can upload this agad, no?
sa Thursday. Yeah. Oo. Anyway, we have to wind down kasi we're running out of time, no? But we'd like to ask Aiza, what are the if you had a tip to share, one important tip to share to couples now who are in a quarantine, spending more time together. Sometimes also there's a tendency to get into each other's nerves, hindi ba? Parang since mas mahaba yung panahon yung magkasama, mas madalas kayo pwedeng magka-conflict. Yeah, I'm talking from experience, mine and other friends, no? May totoo, may blessings, no? That you have yung time na yung minimithi mong quantity time tsaka quality time na kamit mo na. Okay, pero
Yeah.
on the other hand, parang may ganun pa rin conflicts na mangyayari kasi nga madalas kayong magkasama. So what can you say, Aiz?
So, it's not just in meeting the emotional needs, if you meet it, great. But there are areas also when you might be offending each other, that you might be triggering each other, especially past hurts and wounds. So that's why it's important to really communicate openly, daring to be vulnerable, heart to heart. Then dyan papasok yung dialogue. And in the dialogue, we have this two kinds of conversation: discussion and dialogue. The discussion is when you talk about decisions na, okay, what microwave oven we're gonna buy, we're gonna send our kids to school. Those are pros and cons, and this conversation of the head. Dialogue is more conversation of the heart, talking about feelings without blaming the partner that triggered the feelings, but more on identifying ano yung behavior, ano yung sinabi, ano yung hindi ginawa or ginawa that triggered a feeling. So it's just reporting what's going on with you. I'm annoyed, or I got scared when you didn't notice me, or when you ordered food for the kid and you forgot to order, ask me what I want. I felt sad about that. So more on that versus, ko talaga hindi mo na ako iniisip, lagi na lang yung mga bad. That's more blame. That's more judgment. So that will trigger defensiveness on the other person. Pero kung ang reporting mo lang, nalungkot ako, hindi naman niya pwedeng sabihin, hindi ka nalungkot. Pero pag sinabi mo, hindi mo na ako iniisip, hindi totoo yun, lagi kitang iniisip. So those kinds of conversation is important. And so talk about feelings level, what's the trigger, what's the effect. And then kailangan pag mag-uusap, may makikinig. No? Hindi pwedeng sabay nag-uusap, walang nakikinig, walang mararating ang conversation. If both feel the need to talk, pause, stop, halt, move away, breathe for a while. When one is ready to listen, then invite the other person back. Sige, ready na akong maintindihan kung anong naramdaman mo, makikinig na ako. And that should be the main purpose of being in a loving relationship. You want the what's gonna be good for your partner. You want to promote her well-being, his or her well-being, and that's why you are willing to, dying for our spouse doesn't always mean literal dying. Dying can mean tatabi ko muna yung nararamdaman ko kahit ako rin naiinis. Uunahin kong makinig, intindihin yung asawa ko. That's a form of dying. And which is something that they can do now that we have more time being in a lockdown and really maximize. Kasi laging napupush sa ilalim, it's swept under the carpet, all the issues of the family. Pag oras na magtrabaho, alisan na, punta na sa eskwelahan, okay na, hindi na kailangan mag-usap. Pero ngayon, naku, talagang lahat ng simptomas hindi maitago. At harapin na habang may pagkakataon para everyone will grow out of the pandemic, the lockdown, when this is all over or things are better, we've grown as a family. Sabi ko nga, ito ay parang isang malaking team building, di ba? Brad Manjo, yung pamilya mo, parang isang malaking organisasyon yan, no? Di ba? And sometimes we do
Mass gathering.
Mass gathering. Buti hindi kayo nahuhuli. Bakit lagi may party sa bahay nito mo to? Right? Di ba? Parang, and sometimes we facilitate activities that are challenging para mag-grow yung team ng isang organization, company or not. So ngayon, ganun din ang nasa family. There is a real life challenge and crisis out there called COVID, called this pandemic. And this is a chance to strategize as a family deliberately. Ano pwede nating gawin para lalabas tayo dito na mas masaya. At ang head dyan ay yung nanay at tatay, mag-asawa.
Yes. Amen. Okay. So, Aiza, how do our kung halimbawa may couples who feel the need na hindi natin to kayang i-resolve, we need outside help. So, paano ka ba mako-contact?
Yes. So for those who need intervention, facilitation, lalo na yan, hindi kayo kaya mag-hold. Parehong nagsasalita sabay. That's our expertise to be in the middle to help you listen to each other and understand each other better. So you can contact us very easy sa Facebook through the Love Institute. So you can set appointments there and we can make your relationships from good to great and hopefully deepen even more your love for your partner and have a blissful marriage.
Yan. So, friends, narinig nyo na. If it comes to the point na medyo sa tingin nyo kailangan nyo ng tulong ng expert, go to Facebook, The Love Institute. You can message them sa Facebook.
Yes. And we have also mga iba't ibang articles doon about relationships and about parenting that they can read and learn from every day. Kasi wala namang school, 'di ba? Brad Manjo, wala namang school
walang school for parents. Yeah.
Eh ang PK na at ang one day, half day, kulang yun. Eh ang maging driver ka nga, may 7 days kang theoretical and practical. Pero as a parent and as buti ko umattend sila ng EduChild, buti ko umattend sila ng mga seminars, pero that's not enough. So the more learning, the more books we read, the more seminars we attend, the better you will have in your relationship.
Tuloy-tuloy na pag-aaral. Okay. So thank you very much for your time. Alam namin sobrang busy ka, lalo na ngayong pandemic, kaliwat kanan ng iyong mga webinars. So maraming salamat at napaunlakan mo kami sa Family Watch, Aiza. And please send...
My pleasure. My pleasure to educate the families. I believe in what you stand for. All the problems of society, we can stem it in the family. What we do for the family will radiate to society.
That's right.
Amen. And with that, we leave you with our Bible verse from St. Paul's letter to the Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25 to 30. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ loved the church and handed himself over for her to sanctify her, cleansing her by the bath of water with the word, that he might present to himself the church in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish. So also husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself, for no one hates his own flesh, but rather nourishes and cherishes it, even as Christ does the church, because we are members of his body.
Okay, so thank you very much, Miss Aiza. So everyone here who's watching, if you've got this far, Thank you so much for keeping up. Kung nagustuhan niyo ang video, please give us a thumbs up. For comments on how we can improve or suggestions on what topics you would like us to cover, please type them down on in the comment box below. Please know that we read all of your comments. Now, if you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing and see you next week. Thank you very much.